Okay, hey, thanks for joining us today. My name is Dave Anderson, and we would like to tell you a little bit about our new tool, utility, ALATO, which is a lightweight administration tool for the Oracle database. Show you how it works, do some demos. First, just real quick, the ALATO development team is listed here. John Watson, Oracle Certified Master DBA. Gary Lawton, he did the heavy lifting on the Apex work here. Bob Benoit is a internet and Amazon AWS architect. Tyson Juglet, who was an assistant to Gary on this. And Tyson is a senior Apex developer. He's a certified Oracle Apex expert, and he is just a fantastic trainer and mentor. Just a little bit about SkillBuilders. We're celebrating our 20 years in business. We have extensive Oracle administration experience, extensive Oracle Apex experience, and cloud experience, specifically with Amazon AWS. The demonstrations that we'll do of ALATO today are running in the Amazon cloud. We build software solutions, applications, and products. Many of you might have used our plugins in the past, and we hope you'll be interested in ALATO moving forward. We also set up Oracle database servers from the bare metal up or on the Amazon cloud. Services include, of course, remote DBA, led up by John, Apex application development, staff augmentation, training and mentoring, as I mentioned earlier, and Apex hosting. We put up a web page. You can get here from skillbuilders.com/ALATO. And if you haven't seen this page already, it just tells you a little bit about the product. It's got a nice features overview here. You can try it. You can log into it with a demo account. Password is demo. You can see some videos we've created, how to make ALATO work best for you. There's also a free trial download for 30 days. You can call us to arrange a purchase of the product, and we'll send you a permanent license key. Tech specs, Oracle Database, SE, SE1, SE2, EE, and embedded license environments. One of the big things about this, for those of you who are ISVs, they're shipping the embedded Oracle database in products. Oracle Enterprise Manager is not available in those environments. So ALATO might be a big help to you in those environments. We support Oracle 11.2 and 12c, Apex 405, and the operating system we're supporting right now is Linux. We intend to support Windows next year. But ALATO is a lot of things as far as an administration tool. But one of the things that we find special about it, we feel are special about it, is it provides features that some of the other tools, including Database Control, Enterprise Manager, Database Control, Database Express, just don't have. For example, scheduled clones, Apex application exports, metric thresholds, alerts, and notifications. Get that if you buy Enterprise Edition with some of the packs. But we've built it here for you in ALATO, so you get it even with Standard Edition or the embedded database license. We'll manage ASM storage for you. What I'd like to do now is turn it over to John Watson to give you a little bit of background on why ALATO is important, and then jump right into some demonstrations.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Well, I say afternoon, depends on your time zone, really. My screen broadcast should be working now, and you should be able to see just a very straightforward PowerPoint slide. Dave, please let me know if there's a problem with the screen broadcast.
Looks great.
When we designed the product, we started off by comparing it to Oracle products, Database Express and Cloud Control, your Enterprise Manager as shipped with Release 12c. And what we found was some major issues there. And we, of course, can never write a product that would compete with what Oracle Corporation can produce. But I think we can fill some gaps in the Oracle Enterprise Manager product set. For example, with 12c Database Express, some functionality is simply not there that many sites made extensive use of in 10G and 11G database control. Principal ones being disk group administration, backups, use of data pump, And as Dave mentioned, schedule metric-based alerts with email notifications. And that functionality is just not there in Database Express. Of course, you can go to Cloud Control, and Cloud Control will give you all of this. But Cloud Control is a big, big, big installation. Very good product, but it's a big footprint in terms of hardware. And from my own experience, it's a big implementation project to use Cloud Control sensibly. It's going to take a fair-sized team, many weeks or months to get it set up correctly. So what we tried to do, provide the core functionality that you need in any database monitoring tool, but then add some of the extras that are gone in Database Express and in Database Express, and even add a few things that Database Control never had. And all of this without the overhead in terms of resources and DBA time of configuring Cloud Control. So that was our objective. And very briefly then, this is what it might look like. And this is a little installation I got on one of my own servers. I'm not using cloud at this point. I'll go to a cloud server in a moment. We begin with metrics that we can display, and there are a couple of hundred charts you can choose from for what people, any number of metrics you can monitor at this point. By default, we would normally just display CPU usage, physical reads, and logical reads per second. But there's a huge choice of metrics available at this point. Then we've got whether any alerts have been raised. And at the bottom, we see who's logged on to the database right now. This is just a very small demonstration system. But for example, if I were to simulate an environment, I'll simulate establishing my connection pool. Log on as user apps, password apps. Log on, user apps, password apps. I've got a connection pool of 2 people. Then my application server will pass the session out to a user. So I'll make this one become user John, and this one can become user Dave. And we can see immediately in near real time, there we are, apps is logged on and he's actually Dave, and then my other pool session there is actually John. And basic monitoring. If I do something, just set up a simple problem. So in one of my sessions, I'll do a bit of DML. Oops, I have to go to scott.emp, do a bit of DML there. And then maybe run some stupid query. I'll just select count star from sh.sales, and I'll cross-join it to sh.sales. And that should show a bit of a strain on the database, provided I spell select correctly. That's going to run for a while. Maybe set up another problem. Have my other user, through my connection pool, hang as well. And we should see on the ALATO desktop, pretty soon, we'll see the activity picking up as that large query begins to impact on the system. You can see the running code down here. There's that, and there's that. We do not in the current release, by the way, have the ability to click on this and show the execution plan, execution statistics. Dave, that is on the development schedule, is it? Do we have a delivery date for execution plans and so on?
Not quite yet, John.
Hoping it'll be, being a database administrator, that's what I really want to see. I want to see that coming up as soon as possible, the next release. And I know our market research has shown us that it is something that people want. Oh, you can see here, the CPU usage is now beginning to shoot up as a result of that large query. And if we look at, let's see, waiting sessions, there's my pooled connection being used by John, hanging on, guess what? Row lock contention. And that's because of the hang there. So you get the idea. It's a simple dashboard to monitor what's going on. Now, that's what you'd expect from any monitoring tool. But then we can go to some of the extras. I'll break out of that. I'm not going to demonstrate. I'll go to our cloud server for looking at some of the next things we'll look at. This is the demonstration server. Oh, and I see something straight away. This is live, by the way. I notice here, CPU is up to 60%. This is a problem we've had on this server. There's a Java process this is the actual server that we're running on, IP 172.30.0.53. And look at that CPU usage. This is only a demonstration machine. It really shouldn't be at over 60%. So straight away, I can actually use the tool to diagnose a bit of a problem there. That's far too high. And if we look at the machine top, we'll see what the problem is. And oh, there it is. It's a Java container that's grabbing far too many resources. It's taking a whole of a CPU there. And ALATO is showing us exactly that in real time. In real time, we're seeing that problem come through. This has nothing to do with ALATO. It's a problem with the Java we're running, happens to be running on that machine. So the other facilities we have here that you wouldn't get with a normal monitoring tool, I'll take it from the, let's start with storage. We've got the ability to work with table space and data files as anybody would expect. You know, we can create table spaces and modify existing table spaces and so on. But what we're particularly proud of is the ability to look at ASM. In this simple environment, we do have ASM configured. There's just one disk group, which is in fact pretty much empty. And you can see there the overall picture of what's going on. Disk groups, we've got one disk group created. I could create a new disk group, or I could modify an existing disk group. If I want to modify a group, the group details, we can see there, but there we see the space usage, the fact that it is mounted, and it consists of only one disk group, of only one disk at the moment. If I want to add a disk, select a disk to add, or choose a disk, that would help. I've got 3 disks available. Of course, there's filtering to make sure you can't add disks, attempt to add a disk that's already in use. So basic ASM administration, create your disk groups, monitor your disk groups, adjust the disk groups, and of course rebalancing will be occurring right now. What shall we look at next?
One point I'd like to make now, for those of you administrators who are not yet sold on ASM, I urge you to come to our free video tutorials under the Oracle database section of our database and watch John's video on ASM and why it's a great storage platform and provides great performance. Back to you, John.
That is an important point. It is a wonderful platform. We should emphasize that. And I think that some sites are a bit reluctant to move to ASM because of the administrative complexities of it. But we're hoping that this would perhaps simplify that significantly. Note that in this machine right now, we are in fact mixing our storage in that we've got some devices, this table space, if I remember correctly, JWTS, this table space is indeed on an ASM disk group, whereas most of the database is actually on file systems, so we can handle both environments even concurrently. Then we've got the ability to do export-import. Well, quite a few tools can do export-import. But what we can do is schedule export-imports. Many sites will like to do regular exports, perhaps every day or every week. I'm not going to demonstrate all of these because it would take too long to demonstrate this running, but you can see the configuration here. I've scheduled a job. This is a scheduled job. And what is the job? There we can edit it, see the details. And this particular export job is a daily export that occurs at 2 o'clock in the morning. And what is the job? It's a full export. We can choose full schema, table, or table space level, and then all the details for where it should go to, and splitting up the output file size, the dump file size, and so on. And notifications, of course, as to when the export runs. And that's something many sites will want to do, which you'll probably be scheduling, maybe through cron. Well, now we can bring it into the database environment, schedule these jobs to run at whatever time you please. What we choose to export, by the way, there are all sorts of possibilities here. We can include archive logs or not, and so on. Import, you don't schedule import, but there's, for completeness, there is an interface to the import facility, and if you have got a dump file available, we can run the import through the tool. Backup, that's another thing that is missing in Database Express that many people would have used DB Console for. DB Console, because it's had the DB Console agent, could schedule backups. It could schedule backups. You can't do that with Database Express once you upgrade to release 12. So we've added the ability to do that. We can do backups, and particularly importantly, we can schedule backups. This is a schedule backup or a full daily backup. In full backup, where to go to, compressed backup, what we're going to back up as compressed backup sets or backup sets or image copies, full or incrementals. Do we want to include control files, archive logs, and all the rest of it? And then the maintenance, deleting expired, deleting obsolete, and a cross-check, of course. And this one is scheduled to run every day, daily, at 1 in the morning. And again, we can send notifications on whether it's success or failure. So I hope that will be the functionality most people would want from scheduled backups. And the final capability from the DBA's interest is cloning. And some sites will be cloning databases with awful frequency. You clone production to 2 or 3 development databases, plus a test database, plus a QA database, all that sort of thing. Many, many clones. And some database administrators spend half their life cloning databases. Well, you can probably tell I feel quite strongly about this one. I really wanted to be able to automate cloning of databases. And that we can do very nicely as well. The general idea, if you look at the scheduled one, so this is a scheduled clone job that will clone this database once a week. So every week we'll clone this database on Saturday at 1 AM. The information we need to give it is logons, the local database you're going to clone, the TNS Connect details, the TNS Connect details for the destination database, so the target here going to the auxiliary over there, 2 Talman terms, and then the name of the database at the remote site. And automatic clones that will happen of whatever schedule you please. There's quite a lot of control you have here. File name substitutions. Clearly, if you were cloning within the same machine, you have to generate new file names. Well, we've got the ability to generate new file names to ensure you don't overwrite live files. There's no problem with cloning from, say, ASM to file system. That could go quite well as well. And, of course, you can also remap the names of your log files. So that's the basic functionality from the database administrator's point of view. But we found demand in the marketplace to add some facility for administering the Apex environment as well. And that, to the best of my knowledge, is not available in any form of Enterprise Manager. But I have to pass over to other people to describe the Apex functionality. So back to you, Dave.
Thanks, John. And I'm going to pass the ball over to Gary Lawton. Well, at least I'm going to attempt to. And I'm going to pass over to Gary, and Gary's going to give us a little discussion and demonstration of the ability to export your Apex applications and why that is so important. Welcome, Gary.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen now? I hope everyone can see my screen.
Indeed, it looks perfect, yeah.
Okay. Well, the importance of Apex exports. It's probably not widely known, but if something goes wrong with an Apex application, it's not very easily to recover from it. So it is very important to have regular backups certainly in a development environment. To recover from some kind of error in an Apex application, it is very, very difficult to recover, which makes scheduled exports of Apex a very, very useful tool indeed. And this tool is very similar to the other scheduled clones, scheduled exports. It works very similarly. Here are 2 examples of Apex exports. This one, as you can see, it is exporting all applications from all workspaces. This one can be scheduled. At the moment, it was scheduled to run immediately, but it can be scheduled just like all the other utilities. And this one, you can export individual applications in a. You can choose a workspace and then choose the applications. And if we look at the log of the Apex exports, we will see here an example of the exports of the workspace itself and the applications within the workspace. So they can be scheduled, and you've got a export of your Apex applications as often as you want.
Yeah, we feel this is a really exciting feature with all the Apex development going on today. So many people are developing the applications, mission critical applications now in Apex, and as Gary said, it's not easy to go back. You make a mistake and you want to unwind, and there's a flashback feature, but geez, it seems that flashback feature is always just too short a time to get back to where you want without any other necessarily means of bringing back an individual Apex export other than the developers remembering to export their application, i.e. back it up. Just a powerful tool. Now, I think Oracle, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Oracle created a Java utility to do some of this exporting.
Yeah. Yes.
Cumbersome might be the word I'd use for this Java utility. You can schedule it with cron and so forth, but this is just so much more elegant and easy to use. Back to page skillbuilders.com/ALATO. We'll take you here, give you a lot more information on it. Once again, don't forget you can take a test drive, log right in right now with a demo username and a password of demo. We're creating more videos by the day about how to use, how to install, and your free trial download. You will need a database ID, and the reason for that is we use the database ID to create your license key. If you need a new database ID for your trial, don't worry, just give us a call, send me an email, and we will give you a new key. John, we got a question. How are clones updated in the Tnsnames.aura file?
In the current release, you configure your SQLnet connectivity first. So whether you're using Tnsnames name resolution or LDAP or whatever, one way or another, you configure your SQLnet connectivity between target and auxiliary first. And then ALATO can take over and push the clone out. This is one of the cases where if there is market demand to say, can we have an interface to edit Tnsnames, something that will not be as prone to error as just doing it with VI, that's the sort of thing we would consider adding. Current release, configure SQLnet first.
And in fact, John has created a video on exactly that, which is setting up the prerequisites for cloning, how to satisfy clone prerequisites for ALATO. Do any of our monitoring scripts require AWR ASH licenses? We can't query those tables without a license. Excellent question.
Absolutely not. We've been extremely careful to make this product 100% compliant even with SE licenses. We haven't actually done full testing on the Express Edition. We can't say that for sure because we haven't validated against Express Edition, but it's certainly fully validated against SE, SE1, and SE2. And quite often, where we're simulating Enterprise Edition capabilities, for example, with threshold alert notifications, you configure an alert on elapsed time per call, for instance, which I could show you if you wanted, and you get some alert sent through whenever a threshold is crossed. With Enterprise Manager, you can send email alerts, but for that you need Enterprise Edition plus Diagnostics Pack, if I remember correctly. Whereas we can do that because we wrote our own alert handler for dequeuing the messages. We can do all that in Standard Edition. So definitely no problem with AWR tables. We don't even check if they exist.
Would we install ALATO in each database? And this kind of gets us back to the architecture. It is an Apex application, and right now it is monitoring or administering the database on which it is installed, not any other remote databases. We'd love to do that someday in a future release. There are definitely some challenges to that, as you can imagine. But right now it is a one-for-one to each database it is managing. I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday time and a happy Christmas, and we hope to hear from you soon. So bye for today.